watching. Certainly the Turtles getting together with the Golden Gophers on Saturday at noon. But all eyes on the Meadowlands Sunday at 1 o'clock. The Ravens take on the New York Football Giants. We have some space left on our WNST bus trip. If you want to do that, just throw me an email, nasty@WNST.net, or click on the trips tab at WNST.net. We'll make some room for some late goers as well. She's been covering the Giants for a couple of decades up in the Meadowlands for Inside Football, as well as Sports Exchange and the Journal-Inquirer. You can follow her journey out on Twitter at Patricia_Traina. That's Traina. And we welcome her back on to WNST.net. What's up, Patricia? I'm going to get a cot up there somewhere outside of MetLife Stadium where you have this beautiful picture of the training facility. Just sleep there for the week like I'm camping out for Springsteen. We're spending a lot of time up in the swamps of Jersey the next 2 weeks.
But you know what? It's perfect weather. It's gorgeous outside. I mean, this is football weather. It's nice and crisp. What more could you ask for? Except that, obviously a competitive game, which, there's no guarantee. But, hey, I'm looking forward to it.
I can use the end of a 2-game losing streak at this point for the Ravens. And the Ravens have obviously struggled. It's been a code red this week, as I've called it, when you fire your offensive coordinator at 9 o'clock in the morning on Monday. That's kind of weird, but, it really speaks to the convictions of John Harbaugh to say, we think this thing can get better. I talked to a lot of people at the Giants this week. What's going to make the Giants better right now, Patricia?
Well, they've got to get control of things. The last couple of weeks, they actually going back 3 weeks, you talk about the 2-week losing streak the Ravens have. The Giants have a 3-game losing streak. They've got to get themselves under control. You can't have emotional outbursts. You can't get frustrated when things don't go your way. And I'm not just talking Odell Beckham Jr. I'm talking the whole team. You've got to get yourself under control, stay focused, stay committed to discipline and poise, if I may borrow the words of Ben McAdoo, the head coach, and just concentrate on beating the man in front of you. And if you can do that, then the good things will start to happen.
Yeah, they look like a bad football team on Sunday night. I watched most of that game, and I'm thinking, well, we're going to see them in 6 days. If they look like this, the Ravens have a real chance to get out of the Meadowlands at 4-2 and sort of move the season in the other direction after these two really nasty home losses in games that were very, very winnable. And obviously, John Harbaugh's head hit the ceiling on Sunday night firing his offensive coordinator.
Yeah, a lot of times I've seen when a team makes a change, a coaching change, in season, usually that lights a spark underneath the team. So I give that little intangible in the favor of the Ravens because, like I said, sometimes things tend to go a little stale. And when you get somebody's attention, you make a statement, and that's about as big of a statement as you can make outside of firing the head coach. I guarantee you that's going to get their attention.
Yeah, the offensive line's been trouble on both of these teams. They're almost mirror images, except that the Giants are sort of playing with the guys they've got. The Ravens have been moving people around and playing second-teamers and playing second-teamers out of position. For the Giants, protecting Eli and trying to run the football a little bit would certainly open up the big passing game they want to have there. They've struggled on both ends of that the last 3 weeks.
Yeah, they have. And unlike the Ravens, the Giants really haven't had a whole lot as far as injury issues. I believe the Ravens have had a couple of guys who have been banged up that have necessitated some of the moving around. But, yeah, the Giants, the offensive line, it's funny, that was one of the units that wasn't addressed in free agency of the draft. They did try to address it in free agency, but, they fell short of doing that. And, coming into this season, I had concerns about that offensive line. I had concerns about the depth. I had concerns about the 2 tackle spots, and I hate to say it, but all the concerns I have are kind of rearing their ugly heads right now because we just have not seen the consistency from the tackle spots, and the pass protection has just been all over the map, and you're not going to get much done. I don't care if you got Tom Brady back there. You're not going to get much done if you don't have time to set up and scan the field and do your thing.
Patricia Traina covers all things New York Football Giants. She's the beat writer out at Inside Football as well as the Sports Exchange. You can follow her on Twitter, and thousands do it. Patricia_Traina, Traina. The Eric Flowers thing, and you talk about how much they've believed in the offense. They've drafted these guys, and they're going to play them. And the Flowers shoving incident after the game, and then the sort of my bad, but we're not going to address it. That smells a little fishy for me. I've been in a lot of locker rooms, and I've seen players get animated. I haven't seen reporters, not even some that I'd like to shove, get shoved.
Yeah, I mean, there's just no excuse for that. You just don't put your hands on somebody in that type of manner. I mean, I don't care what happened. I don't care who it is or how you feel about the person professionally or personally. And unfortunately, I saw a lot of jokes on Twitter about, even though he pushed him, he was still able to get to the quarterback in 1.3 seconds. It's not a funny thing, and it's unfortunate. And this goes back to what I was talking about when you asked me before. This team needs to get control of itself and play with discipline. And right now they're letting their emotions spiral out of control, and it's sabotaging all the good things that they're able to accomplish. So, if they can clean up some of this stuff and not have these distractions hanging over their heads an entire week, I think they'll be fine, but it's up to them.
Well, the Giants have always been this all-in-the-family thing, I mean, going back to Ernie Accorsi and George Young and, Parcells and Fossil through the era, the McAdoo transition hasn't really signaled a new Giants team. It feels like the same thing that was sort of going on under Coughlin. And, I'll be the judge of this on Sunday, but watching them play last Sunday, I don't think they have a lot of really good football players, and I think they really overspent in free agency on some defensive players that haven't panned out so far.
Well, you got to keep your expectations, realistic. I mean, anybody who thought that these guys coming in, the Vernons, the Snacks Harrisons, that they were going to record 20 sacks apiece, you got to temper your expectations. And I keep telling people, no, the sack numbers aren't there, but are they disruptive? How are they doing against the run? I think the Giants are doing pretty good against the run. And I know last week they gave up the most amount of yardage I think they have all season. But you've got to take it in baby steps. And this is a unit that's coming together. And then the other thing you have to take into consideration with that pass rush is the injuries in the defensive secondary. All right. So now you've got guys that, maybe can't cover as well as your starters who you are missing. And that doesn't give the defensive front enough time to get to the quarterback. So, I mean, it could be a combination of those things. There's no question, though. Everybody on that Giants team, from offense to defense to special teams, they've got to pick it up. They have to. But, you got to look at the whole picture when you're saying, they overspent. I think it's a little too soon to say that right now.
Patricia Traina covering all things Giants, but, you also take a peek at the Jets every once in a while. This is kind of a weird couple of weeks. Now, we are running a bus trip up to the Giants this week. There is no bus trip for the Jets next week. But like I said, I could, stay there on a cot for the week and just sort of enjoy all things New York. This isn't a good time for New York football. This is a hell of a time for the Ravens to be coming up there. They have a real chance to steal these two games, right?
I would think so. Look, hey, any given Sunday, if they come in and they got a good plan and they execute it and they don't lose their cool, look, football is all about beating the man in front of you. That's the bare basics. It's also about, the mental aspect of it. The team that makes the fewest mistakes is generally the one that's going to come out on top. And, if the Ravens come in and they're disciplined and they execute what they're asked to do, then sure, why not? Why not have a chance to steal these next two games?
Well,
I know the New York fans don't want to see that happen, but the Ravens get paid too, so why not?
Well, I mean, we've certainly struggled at home here the last couple of weeks. It's going to be interesting to see what the offense has cooked up with Flacco and Morningwig, and certainly running the football will be what the Ravens want to do on Sunday. Really appreciate the time, Patricia. Great having you on. We'll be following you out at Sports Exchange as well as at InsideFootball.com and out on Twitter as well. And we'll see you Sunday up there somewhere in the swamps of Jersey.
Okay, sounds good.
You got it. Patricia Traina joining us here from Inside Football. You can find anything you miss here this week in the Buy a Toyota Audio Vault 24 hours a day from anywhere in the world on your mobile device by downloading the TuneIn Radio app. We come in live whether you're in Jersey or New York or anywhere. I've got an email this week from Manchester, England. I've also got an email this week from Brisbane, Australia. Two parts of the world. We got a lot of Ravens fans out there. Appreciate you guys coming by and checking out our work here. Our bus trip does have a few seats left on it. It's our only bus trip of the year that we're doing, just based on my wife's health and based on the schedule and other things. So some space if you want to join us. Toss me an email, nasty@WNST.net. I'm out on Twitter, Facebook, LinkedIn, Snapchat, Instagram, streaming live on Facebook Live, as well as our YouTube channel. Big week this week. We had C.J. Mosley at Buffalo Wild Wings and Owings Mills on Tuesday, as well as Zach Orr and Alex Lewis at Greenmount Station in Hampstead in Carroll County swabbing for the Bone Marrow Registry, and for There Goes My Hero. It's going to be a big week next week as well, as we'll have more baseball playoff stuff, and the Orioles get a little further removed, and hopefully the Ravens are on a one-game winning streak and headed to the Meadowlands again to take on the Jets next week. We are WNST.net, AM 1570, and WNST Taos in Baltimore, and we never stop talking Baltimore sports.